Model UN, Flash Mentoring Program, Key Club, and Youth in Government. Stephen is also in the National Honor Society, has received the Perfect Attendance Award, lettered in band, was a Boy State representative, and received academic awards in both science and math. Stephen also finds time to volunteer at the St. Mary's Soup Kitchen. In his spare time, Stephen has a variety of hobbies, including origami, spending time with friends, biking, and playing the tuba. He plans on attending OSU and then OHSU to become a dentist. Great job, Stephen. Okay, now I'd like to introduce to you Jim Denham, my friend and Public Affairs Coordinator with ATI Wachang.
Thanks, Georgine. This is the point in time where the sponsor is supposed to tell all about their business, but since our speaker is going to do that, probably the less I say on that subject, the better. We do, however, we're fortunate in that for some reason we have a great number of our senior management team with us today, and I'd like to introduce those to you. If you please stand as I read your name. Gary Michaud, our Vice President of Operations. Bill Stamps, our Vice President of Human Resources. Perry Walborn, our Vice President of Commercial Operations. Lee Weber, our Director of Environmental and Safety. Brett Herb, our Director of Quality. Greg Gosling, Director of the Albany Operations Facility. Fern Haugen, Assistant to the President. Rich Shelton, our Human Resources Manager. Pam Mead, our Compensation and Employment Manager. Joe Michael, our Director of Procurement for the Primary Metals and Exotic Alloys Group. Jim Stearns, our Purchasing Manager. And Jamie Corrigan, our Network Technician, who's going to make sure everything works today. And we also have a special guest with us, Tucker Redford, who's the General Manager of U.S. Operations for ATI Allvac. And I also see in the room a couple of distinguished retired Wachang employees. John Weiss, our former Vice President of Finance, and Mark McNabb, our former Vice President of Operation. I'd like to welcome them. With the retirement of Lynn Davis on February 1st of this year, John Sims became the Group President for Allegheny Technologies Primary Metals and Exotic Alloys group of companies. He has a master's degree in mechanical engineering from the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey and came to Allegheny Technologies in 1996 as a project metallurgist for ATI Allvac after serving 14 years in the U.S. Navy. In 2002, he became Allvac's Vice President of Operations, and in 2008, he came to Albany as President of ATI Wachang. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Mr. John Sims.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm going to give you a short presentation providing you with an update. Don't turn the lights too low, they'll all sleep. Providing you with some update on what's going on in ATI and what's going on here in Lynn County with ATI Wachang. Very pleased to have some of our distinguished alums here with us, as well as one of our valued customers as well. ATI, one of the world's most largest and most diversified specialty metals companies. We have 3 operating segments that we report through the Securities and Exchange Commission with the High Performance Metals Group, of which Wachang and Allvac are a part. The Flat Roll Products Group and the Engineered Products Group. Our revenue in 2010, year just completed, was just over $4 billion, which was a 30% increase from 2009, where we saw the depths of the recession. We have about 9,200 employees worldwide, and I mean worldwide, from Asia to Europe to the United States. And our Lynn County employment is at 1,300. That's quite a bit up from what it was back in 2009 and even through 2010. One of the things that our Chairman and Chief Executive, Pat Hassey, tells customers often is ATI, because we are a U.S.-based manufacturer, are able to provide our customers throughout the world with a reliable, secure supply chain. We have decided to compete in this global marketplace from American soil. That's not an easy thing to do these days, where most of our competition has their plant and equipment paid for by the government, and they pay their people $300 a day, sometimes a month. But this is what ATI looks like in the United States. You can see we're spread out across the U.S. We have manufacturing facilities, mostly in the eastern U.S., but also in the west, where we are. Our group is in Washington, Oregon, Utah, Alabama, and eastern Pennsylvania. Those are the companies that I'm responsible for. One of the things we've done over the last 5 years is significantly modernize and upgrade our manufacturing technology. If you're a U.S. manufacturer today, you have to stay ahead of the technology. We spent more than $2 billion over the last 5 years as a corporation, either building greenfield sites or upgrading the capabilities of our current sites to be able to compete. We've seen a lot of that investment here in Linn County at both of our facilities, the Albany operations with our sponge plant and melting upgrades, and our Huachang plant here with our zirconium upgrades as well. So significant amount of money spent to prepare us for the next stage of our growth. So where do we sell? As a corporation, almost 70% of our sales go into global high-performance material applications. And most of those are in aerospace and defense, the petrochemical industry, electrical energy, and many others as well. So what about Huachang? Well, this is what we looked like in 1956. This was our first facility being built. It was a zirconium sponge and melting facility. Our history started here basically during the research conducted by Dr. Kroll at the U.S. Bureau of Mines here in Albany, Oregon. That work throughout the 1940s led to the development of a process where you could take beach sand, essentially, and out of that extract titanium and zirconium. So as a result of that, 2 companies in Albany, Oregon were formed. One, Huachang, produced zirconium. The other one, Ormet, produced titanium. And both of those were founded in 1956. So today, those are both part of the same company, but that's how we started, fairly modest. 1968, 12 years later, some expansion, began to grow the business, and today, on 110 acres of land, we have 186 buildings. So we've grown quite a bit. The alloys we produce at Huachang occupy this part of the periodic chart. Now, all you chemistry experts out there, you'll know that, but essentially our materials fall into the reactive metals and refractory metals categories. And those are highlighted in yellow. Titanium, vanadium, zirconium, niobium, hafnium, and tantalum. The elements in blue are those elements that we use as alloy additions as well. So you can see we use a fair bit of the periodic chart to make the materials that we ship around the world. Markets we serve are global. They're high technology, high performance, and growing markets. Product forms, these are just a few, between wire and tubing, flat products, plate products, castings, powder metal, and including fully engineered components. We produce those. So we'll talk about some of the markets that we serve and where we are today. USS Nautilus, first nuclear-powered attack submarine, launched in 1954. In its reactor core had zirconium produced by the Albany Bureau of Mines, which became Huachang. Today, we can say that for the last 50 years, every nuclear submarine in